right, hi and welcome from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. Welcome into the Baylor Coaches Show this evening. Great to be back here at Rudy's. Great to have a good crowd here and a cold night, but inside with some great barbecue. And welcome to all of you. Welcome to those of you that are watching or listening tonight. And join me in welcoming our leadoff hitter this evening. Baylor's new head baseball coach, Mitch Thompson, is here. Welcome to you.
Glad to be here, John. Good to see everybody. Thank you.
How often have you been a leadoff hitter?
Not ever.
Tonight's the first night.
Not one time in my life.
Very good. You're the power guy, and we appreciate that. But we're glad you're here, and we're glad you're here tonight, and we're glad you're back at Baylor. Man, this is exciting.
Well, we're so happy to be back, and it's been a whirlwind for a fall and the summertime, but couldn't be happier, and God's been good.
Very good. Man, that's great. Give us a sense of when you accept the job and hit the ground running. I know the summer was just a blur probably for you.
Yeah, when I got the job, and it was just hit, like you say, hit the ground running. Recruit. Get your staff.
Yeah.
Fill in the schedule. Who's coming back? Which players are leaving? Who's coming in? There was just so many decisions to be made and so many things to do. And once we got the staff hired, then things started to fall into place. I felt like for about 2 weeks I was, running around juggling 20 balls at one time, and it was
right.
a little different. But it was great to get the staff hired. We'll get on the ground and get going.
That was sort of objective number one, right? When
you have to get the staff, and
right.
you have to try and find out and hold on to the team and see where we're at and do all that. So.
Yeah. Very good. Tell everybody about the staff you have assembled. Most people know that, but really a great staff you put together.
I couldn't be more happy. I just tell you, these guys love Baylor. They love players. They love our kids. They're really good at what they do, and we could not have done any better in my view in the staff. And so we have Zach Dillon as our recruiting coordinator and our hitting coach. So we bring back an All-American who knows what to do. He knows Baylor. He loves this place. Zach's been all over the place, coached at Mississippi State, University of Iowa, here at Baylor, and then really hooked up with the select organizations all across the country for the last 6 years. And he worked with me at McLennan, so Zach was a home run for us. We brought James Leverton, who's a guy that I've known for a long, long time, and James is our pitching coach. And James came to us from University of Arkansas Little Rock, but he worked for me for 6 years over at McLennan. And just really knowledgeable pitching guy who loves to recruit, who loves to work hard, who loves to get everything he can out of those guys on the mound. And so we're blessed there too. Those two guys are the two full-time staff guys. We have Jim Blair, who's back, and Jim, was in our very first recruiting class here back in 1995 and played here from 96 to 98, and really a good player for us. And he's been coaching at Sam Houston State and DBU and UTSA, and for the last 3 years was a high school coach. So he came back as our volunteer. Couldn't have done better there. I mean, We've got a guy that's got 18 years Division I experience as a recruiting coordinator, back as our volunteer. And then we hired Darren Thomas as our director of operations. And Darren's, a 32-year college veteran, the last 22 years at UT Arlington, and the head coach there for the last 15 years. He's our director of baseball operations. And Brian Furlong is our director of player development. And Brian came to us. He was the pitching coach at Xavier University up in Cincinnati. He and Zach were close, good friends. And so got to meet Brian, and he was a slam dunk hire for us there. And then the final piece to the puzzle, we got finished up this fall. We got Bo Hallen. Bo is our strength and conditioning coach that we brought from Mississippi State. So those guys have been unbelievable, and we just couldn't have done any better. So there's big things in store with these guys helping lead the charge.
Man, that's a great staff. It really is. And to get guys like Darren Thomas in that position and Jim Blair in that position, I mean, they could be full-time on-field coaches for you. To me, that says a lot about you and the respect they have to want to come here and be a part of your program.
Well, I hope so. But, the thing is this, they want to be a part of something special, and they know what we can do here. And they saw the other guys that were coming with us, and we all know each other. We've all known each other for years, and just the camaraderie and the closeness of the staff. It's hard to build culture on a team if you don't have culture in your locker room of your coach's locker room. And so when your coaches love each other and your coaches have each other's back and we're all in this together, it's real easy to build culture on a team.
Yeah. We've talked about this before in other settings, but when the job became open at Baylor, there was just an immediate crush of support for you to get the job at Baylor. Did you feel that from the very beginning?
Well, I had a little contact with some of the administration, and they asked me at one time, they said, hey, you're in on this thing, but you're going to need to call the dogs off.
Right.
And I said, well, that'd be good, but I don't know what dogs you're talking about, because I just hadn't called anybody and asked anybody about it. I knew that they knew where I was, and they knew who I was, and they know that I'd have interest in the job. But if they had interest in me, then I sure had interest in them.
Yeah.
And I didn't figure that I could round any interest up one way or the other. So, but it was fun, and it was fun to get around town and have people talk about it, and then it was really a blessing to see it all come to fruition and to see it happen and the dream come true.
Yeah, I mean, it was just such a groundswell of support for you, and you weren't driving this at all. I mean, it was just people who know you. You've been around Waco a long time, and everybody knows you. And these people, I mean, to the extent Bryce Cherry wrote a column in the Waco Trib and said, you need to hire Mitch Thompson. Yeah. And I was afraid it was almost too much, like it was kind of painting Mac into a corner.
Yeah, and nobody's going to do that. I mean, right. He's strong, man, and he's going to go through the process and do what he thinks is right. And so I'm blessed that everybody thought that, but I'm really blessed that he thought it. That's the only one that mattered. So right. I'm glad he made that decision.
He's making the hire. Really cool. Well, it did work out, and I'm so glad that it worked out. Thanks for the timing. You announced your signing class publicly today, so we can talk about that today. So let's take a break, and we'll talk about that when we come back. Your first signing class this go-around at Baylor, and we'll talk about that with Coach Mitch Thompson. On the Baylor Coaches Show, live from Rudy's. We're glad you're with us this evening. Thanks to Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue. We'll be back with Coach Thompson right after this. And back with us on the Baylor Coaches Show, live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. Glad you're with us this evening. John Morris, Coach Mitch Thompson talking Baylor baseball. It's been dark for an hour now after the time change. Let's talk about your recruiting class, but first, you're finishing up fall work this week. I think inter-squads today, tomorrow, and Friday to put a wrap on the fall. How have things gone?
Yeah, it's gone real well. The guys are working really hard, competing hard. We've got lots of competition on the field, and there's been days that things are good, and there's been days that things aren't. We're learning a lot. We're learning about our guys. They're learning about us. So it's all coming together nicely. But we're wrapping it up this week.
Gotcha. Inter squads, right? And those I think are open to the public.
They are.
Okay. What time tomorrow? Friday.
Probably start about 4:00 tomorrow. 4:30 on Friday.
Gotcha. And wear a coat. Be prepared if you come out there. This is not an original idea. I wish it was, and which I wish I could trademark it. But at McLennan, you had the Bosky boys, right? Yeah. You're at Baylor now. Could these guys become the Brazos boys?
I don't know why not.
Do y'all like that idea?
I think
Brazos
it's perfect.
Boys. Yeah,
I think it's perfect.
I think that'd be so cool because there's some schools around. I think of Vanderbilt. They're the Vandy boys, and Arkansas is the Omahogs, and the Dirtbags.
We're going to go with it, John.
Are we?
Yeah, we're going to go with it.
Can I get a cut of the Can I get a T-shirt? That's all I want out of it is a T-shirt.
You'll get a T-shirt. Okay. First ones we make. Yeah,
very nice.
That'll work.
But I just think that would be so cool and fits right in and kind of it's catchy. The Brazos boys.
Yeah. Well, and it makes sense, right?
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, we need to find some guys and have some guys who can hit them in that river, and then we'll be in better shape.
Do you have anybody like that right now?
We're not hitting enough of them in there right now. Not yet, but
okay.
we'll see what we can get done.
Getting closer.
Yeah,
Very
we're
good.
saving them for the spring right now.
All right, here's some guys that you announced signing today that maybe are going to hit it in the Brazos.
Oh, that's good.
We've got this list of 13 that was announced today. Give me some of the highlights of this class, or an overall picture of your class.
I think what we did is like we said, we hit the ground running. We tried to improve our club in every area, shape, and form. And one of the things that's kind of, again, it's a little bit difficult this first year is because you don't know exactly what you have.
Yeah.
And so we're making decisions and recruiting players without having real knowledge of seeing the guys ourselves as a staff and making those decisions on our current team. But I think we improved our ball club in every way, shape, and form at every position. I think these guys are all going to fit in well. We go through a process where we need them not only to be good players, but we need them to be good students and good kids. And so we're really happy with it. I think that virtually every position. We signed a couple catchers. We signed a couple infielders, including a shortstop, first baseman. We signed an outfielder or two.
Okay.
Have 2 or 3 dual position guys, and then 6 pitchers, and 5 of them be left-handers. So
I like that.
We need some lefties. We only have 1 or 2 on the club, and so we needed some lefties, and we feel like we fit that bill.
It has to be tough because you're, again, like you said, in the fall, you're getting to know what you already have, but you're also trying to recruit, so you don't really know what you need yet. So
we're just going out and finding guys that we know that we like and we wanted to recruit, and that's what we did. And I think, like I said, I think we helped ourselves in every position on the field. Guys that will at least provide us good depth, that have an opportunity to compete for starting time as a freshman or first year players here. And they'll help bolster our lineup with what we have returning.
That's great. Well, you have a great track record recruiting here at Baylor during your first stint. I mean, Baylor's really some of Baylor's best teams ever. We're really stocked by guys that you brought in. You helped.
Well, if we can make our first recruiting class this time as good as our first recruiting class last time was, then we'll have hit a home run.
All right, who was that? Jim Blair, Jeremy
Dodson, John Topolsky, Kip Wells,
Eric Nelson.
Yeah. I mean, out of that, we signed 17 guys that first year. Brought 17 guys in. 4 of them were All-Americans before they left.
Wow.
So, knock on wood, we got some really. All-Americans here.
Woo, man, that would be great.
Yeah,
that's really cool. So obviously, you feel pretty good about this class.
Yeah, we do. I like the guys behind the plate. They're athletic. Braden Buchanan and Dylan Lester, 2 guys that can catch. Lester can go play another position. Buchanan can go play first, but they're both guys who can really receive and throw the ball well, and got a chance to be really good offensive players. Center field, we brought in Ty Johnson from over at McLennan, who obviously I'm very aware of as I recruited him there and coached him last year. So we're expecting big things from Ty. But we, 3 different junior colleges. We got a junior college first baseman from Wharton named Braden Evans we like. physical, left-handed hitter with some power. Liked him this fall. And then we signed Tyreek Kemp, a shortstop from Western Oklahoma Junior College.
Okay.
And Tyreek is from Rotterdam into the Netherlands.
Really?
And so yeah, so that I mean, we're worldwide now, buddy. We're
go.
going worldwide to go get him. But Tyreek's got some thump in the back, can really defend, and athletic bounce in his step, and so he'll help us in the infield. And then, like I said, the left-handed pitching. We've got several guys that we think have really high ceilings, and we're expecting big things out of them on the mound.
Love it. Sounds good. How about, you mentioned Ty Johnson from McLennan. How about John Ewens from Bosqueville High School?
Yeah, John's from here in town,
Yeah.
and if you see the numbers that John has put up at Bosqueville High School in the last 3 years, it really make your head spin.
Nice.
I mean, wins on the mound off the chart. I don't have all of his stats in front of me, but hitting 400, in his career, or over 400 with, I don't know, 40 doubles and 25 home runs. I mean, his numbers are incredible.
Wow.
And so John's an athletic kid, got ability, and we're grateful to have him stay here in town.
Very cool. Let's make the point. Season opener is, what's the date? Mid-February.
Yeah, February 17th.
February 17th. So everybody that is here tonight and everybody watching and listening, you're counting on these people and bringing 5 more with them to be there, right?
We need folks. That's right. We need folks in the seats, and we need to sell a bunch of season tickets and fill that ballpark up again, guys. You're going to like these kids. You're going to like how hard they play. And we're going to get out there and do our very best this year and continue to improve the program and take it one step at a time as a process. But we've got good kids that are going to play hard, that are going to work hard, compete hard, and they'll be fun to watch. But we need folks in the seats, and we've got December 1 is, I guess, when the season tickets go on sale, and so we need to flood the market on December 1. Need you all there.
and you're gonna call these people individually or go to their house, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. Don't make me hunt you down, okay? We've already talked about this. I've got a lot of friends in town. Well, don't make me come knock on your door. It won't be pretty. Just sign up yourself. Hey, we also need help with the Heart of the Order too. So sign up with that Heart of the Order. Let's get that done and help us get this thing rolling.
Very good. Tell everybody some of the benefits from Heart of the Order.
Yeah, Heart of the Order for us guys is really our excellence fund, and it gives you an opportunity. We'll have several meetings in the course of the spring to get some inside information on the program, on our players. You'll get to meet some of the guys as they come in there, and it's really the insiders group is what it is. Yeah. And we use the money that we raise from that Heart of the Order to continue to fund our program and do different things to improve the place. And we're buying pitching machines, we're putting in things, doing stuff, that's costing thousands and thousands of dollars, but it's a lot of fun, and so every dollar that we can get help from folks sure helps.
Very good. How can they find more information about
the
that?
Heart of the Order, you can go onto the Baylor Baseball Twitter account, and if you're not following that, we need you to follow that as well. But you can go on the Baylor Baseball Twitter account, and we've posted information on the Heart of the Order. Sign up there, as well as season ticket information, so how to go about that. So.
Very good. All right, there you go. Season tickets, Heart of the Order. There you go. Leave with that information tonight. Very cool. And what about, how have things changed from in 10 years, really, since you were here before?
Yeah.
What's different, maybe coaching-wise, recruiting-wise? NIL-wise.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Let's don't go down that path.
Let's don't go there.
But how have things kind of overall changed?
Yeah, I'll tell you, John. In 10 years that I was gone to come back, Baylor athletics to me is come light years. In the baseball staff, for us to have 6 full-time staff members, or that are almost full-time, right, with one guy being the volunteer.
Yeah.
Is incredible. When we were first here, we had 3.
Yeah.
And so we have so much help, and so many guys that can do so many things that we can really line things up well. But to top that off, it's the entire athletic department, the programming that we have, the Baylor Built programming, the character development that we do with these kids, the spiritual development. I'll give you an example of one way that's changed. Byron Weathersby was our team chaplain for 13 years previously. Well, Byron's back doing it now. It's a paid position now.
Wow.
Byron's doing it with Bob Johns here in town, and those two guys are hitting it out of the park with our kids there. But the investment that Baylor makes in the character development and the spiritual development of these kids and helping prepare them for after Baylor and things that are important in life, I think is really unique. And then I think that the professionalism of all of the administration is off the chart. So impressed with all of them. I think in a lot of athletic departments across the country, maybe not a lot, but in many, I think there's a lot of people that are milking the system and collecting checks. I don't think there's anybody collecting a check here that's not doing their job.
Yeah.
I think everybody knows their job, and you better be striving for excellence at it, or we won't have you around here. And what we have is we have a lot of really happy people who are really talented that can really help you in so many ways. So I've been blown away by that this second time around.
Wow, that's really cool. That's good perspective because you know what it was like. You were right in the middle of it for 18 years.
Well, and I think it's leadership, and I do. I give Mac all the credit in the world and his team, and you start naming those folks, and it's just they're off the chart professional. They know what they're doing. They're all in it, all together, and been hugely impressed with that. And I think it's why Baylor's successful in as many sports and everything that we do.
Yeah, I love that. That's very good. All right, that'll get us to a break. We'll take a break. Back with more with Coach Mitch Thompson talking Baylor baseball. Stay with us. We're back in a moment on the Baylor Coaches Show, live from Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue, and we're back after this. And you're back with us on the Baylor Coaches Show, live from Rudy's again this evening. Thanks to our host here at Rudy's. There's Nick back there. Hey, Nick, thank you very much. We appreciate you and your staff. Let's give them a round of applause and thanks. We really do appreciate you, and always so fun to come here to Rudy's. Mitch Thompson, our guest baseball coach, and Mitch, one of our features is the Old Trapper What's Your Beef? If you're watching on television, you see the Old Trapper beef jerky up here. You say you're a fan.
Oh, always a
fan. Of beef jerky.
You bet. Beef jerky.
All right,
great.
You take one or two of those home with you tonight. There you go. That's maybe that and some barbecue take home with you. But for this feature, What's Your Beef? How about the beef of your schedule? What's your schedule look like for the spring?
Yeah, we've kind of got it announced a little while ago, and we're excited about it. We're going to play 36 games here at home. 4 of the first 5 weekends of the season will be here at home, and so that's a great way to get started. We've got it's a challenging schedule. It's some NCAA regional teams are coming in here. We'll start off with Central Michigan as we open up, a 2-time NCAA regional team last 2 years. We'll have Mercer from Georgia coming over. They're a regional type team. We go on the road to Duke, and then have Youngstown State, and then Cal State Bakersfield later in the year at the last weekend of the regular season. Coming in. So So non-conference, that's what we have, but we got a big conference schedule. Obviously, play 4 core series here at home and 4 on the road. We'll have both Oklahoma and Texas here back-to-back weekends in the middle of the season. That'll be fun.
Nice.
And then we end up with playing 15 midweek games over the course of the year, and I think 11 of them are here. So, 36 home games this year out of our 55 scheduled. So that gives us a great opportunity. We need to be playing in front of a full house and playing in front of folks that help us pull off those W's.
There you go. That's another push for season tickets right there with a great home schedule.
We need them.
Really cool. All right, let's play nicknames. Central Michigan, you start with. Who knows what their mascot is?
I got it.
From the audience. Oh, what'd you say? Chippewas is right. Very good. And Mercer the second week. Who knows what Mercer's nickname is? Speak up. All right, Coach, what is it?
Bears.
The Mercer Bears, exactly. And Duke, you go there. They played here last year, and it was so funny because the weekend they were here, Reese Davis for ESPN,
right?
His son played outfield for Duke.
Really?
And it happened to be, the series happened to be when College Game Day was here for a basketball game at Baylor. Reese Davis out there on a Friday watching the game.
Reese got to go out there and see a game. Yeah.
So that was really fun.
Yeah, cool.
So now you make the return trip to
make
Duke.
the return trip to Duke. That's
Very
right.
good. Combined 21 games against 8 NCAA tournament teams. 4 opponents were conference champions last year. Sure you didn't overschedule there.
Well, most of it was done before I got here.
Okay.
I put a few pieces together, the midweek stuff, some of that, but when you can't just start over from scratch when you take over in mid-June. So no, it's a good schedule, and it's I love the fact that we're playing here, and so I'm thankful that we can get teams to come in here and play us there at the ballpark.
Moving forward, when you have control of the complete schedule, what's your philosophy there?
Probably want to try and play a tournament every year.
Okay.
I think in 2024 we'll open up the season at Globe Life Field in the Globe Life tournament there. Play a tournament somewhere, maybe even here in Texas. Go to Frisco, Round Rock, back to Shriners in Houston. Do those type things. I want to play as many home games as possible, but at the same time, I don't want to be afraid to go on the road and play, national powers and to take our guys into, potential regional or super regional experiences and go on the road to some of these big places and play and get prepared for those very things.
Very cool. All right, that's good. Looking forward. So that's our Old Trapper What's the Beef? That is a beefy schedule you put together coming up in the spring, and it starts February
17th. That's right.
Not far away. Weather may be kind of like this in February.
Feels similar, yeah. Nice. It's baseball season.
But a nice sunny day today. All right, very good. Health of your team, where are you right now? You got some guys that are rehabbing? Or
pretty healthy. We do have a few guys that are rehabbing. I mean, we've got some guys that were banged up before they got here that, may not be ready to go in the spring. And so that's a little disappointing with some of them. But I feel good about most of our guys and the health, and should have almost all of them back ready to go before the start of the spring.
Great, sounds good. Is your entourage with you tonight?
Entourage, I don't know. I've looked out there. I can't see as well.
All right.
Amber, all these lights. Yeah, Amber's around, I think.
Oh, look, there they are.
Yeah, there they are.
There we go. There's Amber. And Mary Conley and Caroline. Yes. The entourage.
Roommates.
Never travel without the entourage. Welcome to you. Amber, next time we'll get you up on stage. How about that? That would be fun. Mitch, thanks for being here.
She is the coach of the coach.
I had no doubts about that. Welcome back to Baylor. I know we've said that many times, but glad you're here tonight and glad you're back, and good luck wrapping up fall.
It's great to be here. Thank you. Enjoyed it, guys.
Thank you, folks. Mitch Thompson, Baylor head baseball coach, with us. We'll take a break. When we come back, switch gears. Coach Dave Aranda joins us after a break here on the Baylor Coaches Show. Back with us on the Baylor Coaches Show. Time for our Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics Health Tip of the Week. Don't let pain slow you down. We diagnose and treat sports-related injuries and provide orthopedic services for athletes and non-athletes alike. Visit a Baylor Scott and White Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Specialist and move like you used to. And as we turn the bottom of the hour, folks, join me in welcoming the head coach for the Baylor Bear football team. Coach Dave Aranda is with us. Coach, welcome.
It's good to be here with you.
We appreciate you being here. You were, I think you were in the building a little earlier than normal. You guys do have, you sort of compress your practice schedule this time of year, don't you?
Yeah. It's we've been going for a little bit, and so we try to be able to have really great energy and have there be an edge at practice, physical start and physical finish, and have some energy too. And so, I think when you're executing and you're kind of flying through it and guys are having fun, then I think it's, they look forward to the practices at the end of the year, and we're getting that right now, so it's good.
Very good. Does the time change and it gets dark earlier? I mean, you're usually still going probably when it's dark. Does that make any difference at all?
No. We'll have the lights out there and everything, and it's beautiful, just the view when it's that way, because the stadiums can be lit up and everything. You can kind of see it off in a distance. It's really kind of a cool thing. And then when the sun's going down, too, just all of that is pretty neat.
Yeah.
So the views are cool. But, no, I just think it's more of just, the 11th week and all of it, and let's just try to get – a lot of guys have been through all of it, the physical stuff. Let's get the physical stuff that they need. We don't need any more than what they need, and let's really work on just the execution part.
Makes a lot of sense. And next week, am I right, no classes next week. Baylor is out for the first time ever, officially out for the whole week of Thanksgiving. You're going to change up your schedule a little bit.
Yeah, so Sunday after the Saturday game is going to be for us like both a Sunday and a Monday. And so we're going to put the game to bed and then also start on the next opponent. And we'll have like a walkthrough with the team that Sunday. And then, that Monday would be like a Tuesday for us. All of it's accelerated, obviously, because the game's on Friday. But then we'll also be going in. We'll have walkthroughs in the morning, and we'll have practice kind of mid-morning. And so guys will be done around 3 or something like that, whereas typically we don't really start meetings or any of that till about 2 or 3, so we're moving it up.
Does that work well? I'm sorry to look at a week ahead, but does that work well knowing that your game on Friday is 11 a.m. again, that you are going in the mornings?
Yes. Yeah, it does. It helps for that, and then it also helps just to, I think it helps when you don't have school all day, that that guys aren't just sleeping all day, so they're not just sleeping in, and it's like, hey, we got practice at 3, and there's nothing to kind of keep them from,
right.
Getting a siesta. And so when you go in the morning, they've got to be able to get up and get going and all that too.
As you reviewed the tape from Kansas State, what are some of the things that are top of mind coming out of that game?
I thought that, first of all, I think their execution really pushed us into uncomfortable spots, and I think two separate things. So defensively, that has been too common for us, and so it happened again. Guys that are, I think, to start the game, there's great hustle. There's great, guys are all 11 are making a tackle by the numbers, and you're seeing all of it. But then there was I think it was the second drive. We're in a TV timeout, and Dylan Doyle comes to me and he goes, hey, do you think I should just play the back over the top? And he has the backside A, but the 4-eye, the defensive lineman over here, that would be to Dylan's view over the top, he was, in his gap, and then would come out of his gap and then come back in his gap with 22 over there kind of really being patient and kind of playing back and forth. And so all of this by the back was forcing the D lineman to do this. That was forcing Dylan now to, even though that's my gap, I'm going to go over here because I don't really see anybody over here. And that happened.
Wow.
So that was the problem, And so I think, to break it all down, build it back up in terms of really simplifying and being way intentional with our reps, and then we have all our run fits up on a screen, this week, and so we're all seeing how we fit. And so we watch there's a drawing of how stuff fits together. Like, here's their play, here's all the gaps, here's how we're fitting those gaps. And so then we walk through them. And so I think all those things, I think the guy, the look on the guy's eyes and all of it, I feel good about. And defensively, this has just been something that has been a frustrating thing. I think on offense, I think I think if we go down and we score on that first drive, like I'm sure everybody felt we were going to, it'd probably be different. But then I also think that second drive, we're moving it some too, and we don't score. And then what they're seeing on the other side is them moving it versus us, and they feel like we got to go. So then they start pressing.
Yeah.
And I think, looking back at it, I think there's too much of a view of, hey, we win this, then we win that, and then we win this other thing. We're going to this thing. And I just think they could see it slip away, and they start pressing. And then when they see that it's gone away, and there's still time on the clock, then they're down, and that explains it. And so it's difficult for me to talk about that because we don't talk about looking ahead like that or having any view on an outcome, period. And so that's been a lot of my talks with the team for this week. Is that we've got these weeks remaining. You look at like a record of we went out. I think we'd have one of the top 10 records all time in Baylor football history, and you don't think that. For sure, no one feels like that. I certainly don't. And so you have to focus on today and focus on this meeting, this practice, this walkthrough, all of that. And let's win today, and then let's stack it again with tomorrow by doing that same thing all over again. And I feel like, at the end of practice today, we had Squirrel get up and talk to the team. And he talked about just his concussions, his torn ACLs, and he said all of this adversity, if at any point I just kind of just thought that this adversity defined me, I would not be here in front of you all.
Wow.
And so none of this defines who we are. We write our ending. So this is way strong. The guys are just awesome dudes. It's been a whole thing to get out of our own way, and so we're hopeful that we can do it here for 2 more weeks.
It's pretty powerful from Squirrel, isn't it? I can imagine. Boy, he had everybody's attention. That is great.
Yeah, it was way, way silent when he was talking, and when he was done, there's big eruption. So it was very. It's one of those deals where you could just feel the team being moved.
Yeah. Wow. All right, it's Wednesday. Do you have a good sense of everybody dialed in and moving past the loss and completely focused on TCU?
Yeah, the energy's been good. I think sometimes in practice the energy, it's been really good, but I would equate it to a boxer, having a good workout, and it's like, I'm really hitting that bag really good, but we get to Saturday, that bag's going to hit back, and so that's the thing. I think the thing for us is, especially on defense, is that when that bag does hit back, it can't be, oh, here we go again. It's got to be, all right, let's go, right? Let's go kill this thing. Let's go do us. Let's go do what we know we can do. And so I think that's what a lot of our efforts have been on that.
Very cool. Let's take a break. When we come back, we've got some questions from the audience. Our First Place Foods Ask the Coach questions. We'll have that when we come back. Coach Dave Aranda with us, Baylor football head coach, and we'll continue live from Rudy's right after this. Welcome back on the Baylor Coaches Show, live from Rudy's this evening. This, as of right now, is our final show for the fall, and we really do appreciate you, Coach, making time in your schedule to be here. I know you've got so many demands on your time, but we really do appreciate this. So thank you very much for making time to be here each week.
Anytime.
And thanks very much. Thanks to Brent Ingram and Max Calderon from Baylor Athletic Communications. They're back there. Those guys do work that nobody knows about and nobody appreciates like we do. But, guys, we appreciate you very, very much. We've got some questions for you now. This is our First Place Foods Ask the Coach. First Place Foods. That's a darn good pickle. Tommy, right up front, says, similar to what we've talked about, Coach, after watching the KSU game film, what areas did we play well in?
I thought we played better on special teams. I thought, K-State's very efficient and very strong special teams unit, and I thought we really played well, and we won a lot of those spots. And so I think that area has continued to grow. The effort in practice continue to grow. The belief has continued to grow, because here we go again with TCU and just an elite returner, an elite return game all the way. And so there's a good amount of confidence with our special teams. So I'm excited for that.
Very good. Good question, Tommy. Thanks very much. Young Mason is right here. Mason has a question for you, Coach. He says, how do you motivate the team after a tough loss?
Yeah, I think you try to create like day one energy, and you try to create, when we started it, kind of like who we were, or who we are is really what you're trying to do, and try to build it to bring that back to them, because I think sometimes, you only see negative things, and there's so many positive things, and there's so many things that are going well, and you get caught up on the negative things, and they kind of taint everything else. And so, I think each guy that has kind of turned it on, that has flipped, because, Sunday was a sad day. Monday there was some sadness too. But we're able to kind of, when you see the guy turn it on, it's everything. Just the walk across the hall, the meeting when he sees you, the smile on his face, the effort that he practices with, it's in everything. He doesn't really have to say anything. You just watch him and you can see it. And so you're seeing that happen, which is good. Yeah.
Very cool. Mason, that's a good question. Thank you very much. All right, Nani says, he's right here. He says, at what point will a decision be made, if not already, about redshirting Tay McWilliams?
Yes, we're aiming to do that. I think, Tay's had some head injuries, and really he's sitting down the rest of the year. And it's been frustrating, and, it's been a hard year for Tay, and I think for all of the goals and aspirations he had at the beginning of the year, to kind of have it be this way. And I think he's back now working out with the team, and so he does all of the non-physical stuff. He'll go through drills and things where there's no contact, so he's around the team. And I have him in one of our leadership groups. So I actually met with him just tonight prior to coming here, and so his spirits are good. And I think he's being a really good teammate right now. It's just so hard. I think there's really two types of players. There's players that have been hurt, and there's players that haven't. And there's just such a huge difference. Such a huge difference. The guys that have been hurt just go to places that are just lonely and sad and kind of all of it, and they have to come back up. So he's doing that right now.
That's a guy that won the starting running back job, in fall camp. He was your number one running back first, but he only played 2 games, right?
Yeah, and so, what we're being told is that we get to next year, he's going to be good to go, and so we're excited for that. I know he's looking forward to that. And so, this leadership group he's a part of, he's giving input, he's being, a listening ear to teammates that are struggling with their own things, and so just his growth is just way cool. He's one of those guys similar to Squirrel that you want to just root for and see have success.
Yeah. Noni, good question. Thank you very much for that. Here's a question from Nathan Eldridge. Where's Nathan? Right there in the middle of the room. He says, all right, here we go, Coach. You've quoted from Velveteen Rabbit and the Berenstain Bears. What is next on your reading list?
Yeah. Well, I'm reading right now. There's a new book by Tony Dungy and his wife. I think this is an Uncommon Leadership or something, and actually they're reading it to me, so it's an audio book. And so when I drive in and drive back, I listen to it, and it's just I don't know. I like reading Tony's books, Coach Dungy's books, because there's a plain spoken way of just telling just the stone cold truth. And he talked about just seeing God in other people, and just not me versus you, but us together. And just I think there's times when you really need to hear that. And so I think that's one for sure. I've got one of the other books is Learning to Pray, and so I've kind of been going back. I think it's James Martin is I believe he's a priest, so that's another book I've been going back and forth with. And then the book that I think just came out just yesterday is Swagger by Coach Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, really?
So that's a little bit of a different one,
Yeah.
a different book, but I'm excited to read that one too. And so, yeah, and so I think in the times in between, right, when just listening to those books or reading them, if I'm there early enough, it gives me a release, I guess, and keeps the head clear for what's about to come. Yeah.
Very cool. Good question. Thanks for that. How well do you know Tony Dungy?
Yeah, we text back and forth. I think the things that he talked to me about in the very beginning is just I've come to find is very true. And so, and he says it. I'm just so impressed because he says it in such a nonchalant and look at me way. So that makes me want to, hear more from him and learn more from him. But he's spoken to our team a couple times, and so count him as a mentor.
So you're such a voracious reader. At some point, do you have a book in you for you to write?
Oh no, yeah.
I don't know. You might want to think about that. Maybe not right now. You're a little busy now, but at some point down the road.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I think it would be well received. I really do. I don't know where it would fit in Barnes and Noble. Like what section? Is it philosophy? Is it sports? Is it its own section? But I think it would be well received.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't
think about it. Okay. All right, let's take a break. We'll be back with more in just a moment on the Baylor Coaches Show with Coach Dave Aranda. And back our final segment with Coach Dave Aranda on the Baylor Coaches Show tonight. Coach, it is Baylor and TCU coming up this Saturday, 11 a.m. at McLean Stadium. Fox's Big Noon Kickoff pregame show is here. Game's nationally televised on Fox at 11 a.m. It's a huge platform for this game on Saturday.
It is. We're excited for it, and we're working to give our best effort in it. You know, I think when you look at TCU, just such an explosive offense. You know, their quarterback, who I think we played a couple years ago, is really matured. He's throwing guys open now, using his legs to create. Running backs got however many runs over 50 yards, and they've got a slot receiver that they like matchups on. They got an X receiver that they'll throw one-on-one shots on, and so you know, in terms of a collective skill, the most skilled team that we have had played to this date. And so defensively, just a great challenge there. And so, you know, talking with Ron, I mean, let's be aggressive. Let's err on the side of aggression. You know, let's go. Then I think offensively, I think it's to get back to the, you know, that arc of where we were, you know, prior to our game last week, and just get the run game going, right? Get the, you know, those drives that can eat up clock. Try to get the Gavin Holmes, the Monterey Baldwins, and the Hal Presleys all kind of working at the same time, you know, so we can get some shots on them when all of their safeties and linebackers are playing the run. And so, you know, let's run it first and play action off of it. So that's the plan, you know. And so I think, you know, for us to kind of really be us and put that on tape, and let's ride with kind of our identity is really what we're trying to do.
You do you have a good sense of the history and the rivalry with TCU?
Yes, I think for us we need to get some more wins in that column here, especially. You know, I look at last year's game for sure, and you know, I just think like the even in Waco, I think our ability to start fast, an 11 a.m. kick, and then to assert and really be us and do our identity the way that we know we can, I think gives us the best shot.
What is it? They are so explosive offensively. TCU has so many long plays. Is that just their personnel that they have, or what is it that has allowed them to have so many big plays?
I think their running game is one where so they line up in really wide alignments with receivers. So they spread you out, and then when they run the ball, and their O-line is kind of a nasty, tough group, and so they'll move you if you're not ready for the fight that's about to ensue. And so, you know, teams overcommit to that, and then the matchups on the outside just aren't numbers-wise what you want. Yeah. And then it shows up. And then, you know, when the numbers go outside to these guys, then a run that could be a 10-yard run is a 40 or 50-yard run. Yeah. And so, yeah, they got the numbers on their side of it, and they manipulate it. And so you have to change the math with all that.
And you and Sonny Dykes were together where, at Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'd be over at his house all the time. He was a bachelor at that time. I remember there's like a weight set right in the living room. I go, come on, dude. Come on, dude. This is for show.
Yeah.
But I respect him greatly. I think it was just always so relatable, and always so. I think, you know, you would see guys as coaches kind of go up and down with stuff, and he was always kind of level-headed, one of the more level-headed guys, and it's just cool to see his success, and just whether he was at Cal or La Tech or SMU, wherever he's been, he's won, and so happy for him.
Coach, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Good luck on Saturday. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Dave Aranda, Baylor head football coach, Baylor and TCU, Saturday morning at 11. Back to wrap things up right after this. Back to wrap things up on tonight's Baylor Coaches Show. We appreciate everyone being here tonight. Those of you here at Rudy's, those of you watching, those of you listening. Thanks to Coach Mitch Thompson and Coach Dave Aranda, our guests this evening. Coming up, Baylor baseball wraps up fall work. Inter-squad scrimmages tomorrow at 4, Friday at about 4:30. Then they'll wrap it up for the fall and come back in the spring. So take advantage of that if you'd like an early look at Baylor baseball here in the fall. Volleyball continues the final week and a half of the regular season. And basketball, it's a big weekend ahead. The Baylor women hosting Maryland Sunday afternoon, 2 o'clock in the Farrell Center. The Baylor men are off to Las Vegas for a tournament there. So both nationally ranked Baylor men's and women's basketball teams doing well, and some key games coming up this weekend. We appreciate you being with us tonight. Thanks again to Coach Thompson and to Coach Aranda. Thanks to you for being with us. And for now, good night from Rudy's.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.